It's a 2001 GMC Sierra 2500 HD. It has the 8.1 liter gas V8 and a 5-speed Allison automatic transmission, and it is two-wheel drive. The rear end has 373 gears. The trailer is a load trail 40-foot gooseneck. Empty, it weighs a total of 9,120 pounds, including the 2,440 pounds on the hitch, which is also known as the pin weight. The load is my 1969 Ford Galaxy 500 and our 73 Chevy C10. With those loaded, the trailer weighs a total of 17,840 pounds, which includes the hitch weight of 3,903 pounds. So for almost all of my gas stops, I actually measured the distance with Google Maps and the truck, compared them, etc. Of course, Google Maps was actually a lot more accurate. So I took the distance on Google Maps, and then I took, of course, how much fuel the truck took until the first click. And this is what I got. So loaded, once again, that's 17,840 pounds. I averaged exactly 6 miles to the gallon. And unloaded, which is 9,120 pounds of trailer weight, I averaged 7.14. Now I have heard that if you have 410 gearing, you get like significantly better MPG, like I'm talking people average like 9. Supposedly. That's just what I heard in the groups. Alright, so I wanted to show you guys my gauge setup and such. Let me just full screen right here. So let's start from, I guess, the top or the bottom left. ECT, this is my engine coolant temperature. To the right of that is my transmission fluid temperature. And to the right of that is my engine speed, or RPM. Above that, because I have slightly larger tires than stock, like very slightly larger, my speedo is off by about 1 or 2. So this C speed is corrected speed. That's the actual speed that I'm going. This middle top one is intake air temperature. So that's the temperature of the air coming into the air filter and into the engine. And then at the top left here, I have my throttle position sensor. So this basically is how far I'm pressed down on the throttle. For the average speed, I was averaging between 70 and 75 miles per hour. And I wanted to go through what gears were at what RPM. Now keep in mind that I have 373s, so if your truck has 410s, then our RPMs at certain speeds are going to be different. So if I'm going 70 miles an hour, I'm at 4,000 RPM in third gear. If I bump that up to 75, that increases to 4,300 RPM. Now if I shift to fourth gear, I'm at 3,000 RPM, and if it shifts to fifth, then I'm at 2,100 RPM. And when it does shift to fifth, it will pretty quickly start to slow down and lose speed just because of the gear ratio. Fifth gear is not good for towing, at least not with the 373s I have. There is actually a mod to, it's called the fifth gear lockout mod, and it keeps you, it's an electronic mechanism basically that stops the transmission from shifting into fifth gear. So your normal drive will then not let you shift to fifth gear, it'll keep you in fourth gear, which is the right at about what you want to be at when you have this gearing. So I don't think you really have to worry about that with a 410 gearing. And also, if it's a 2000, I might be recalling incorrectly, but if it's a 2003 model or newer, then you'll actually be able to hold the tow haul mode button, and it'll actually lock it out of fourth gear, or lock it out of fifth gear, sorry. So If you have an '01 or '02 model truck like I do, you might want to do the fifth gear lockout mod. That is if you have 373s. If you have 410s, then, just ignore this and your mileage may vary. Too hard on the brakes. Alright, let's see what a merge is like in this. I'm sure it's going to be slow. Brakes again. He says he needs her, tells her he loves her. Why didn't I think of that? When she gets down, well, he's always around now. He makes her smile again. He mends her heart. Alright, hopefully you guys can see the gauges. Let off the throttle right before I shift. Too far. Well, I guess that's it. Coolant temp 207. Normally it's like 201. We're at 3,300 RPM at 45 miles an hour. For now. Now we're at 3,000 RPM. RPM, 40 miles an hour, and dropping 208 coolant temp. Doing 40, now we're doing 35. If we drop to 30, I'll drop it down to first gear, and that should put us at about 4,000 RPM. There's 30. There's first. 3,800 RPM, now we're at 4,000. I'm going to let off the throttle some so she just sits at 4,000 RPM. And it'll be like this till we're over the pass. Or until it flattens out, which it probably won't. It's been a while since it's been like 6 months since I've done this route, so I don't really remember how it goes. I was about to say we were struggling because we dropped under 4,000 RPM, but I just had to give it a little more throttle. Yeah, I keep having to back off because it goes to 4,100. Now, if I recall correctly, this thing makes its peak torque at 4,500 RPM, but I don't want to be that close to red line, so we'll just be chilling doing this for a while. It's going to be interesting going downhill. Started accelerating too quick. I think we're at the summit. Can I get a... That was easy. Now let's see what the downhill's like.
Yeah.
downhill than uphill. We're at like 10% or some shit. So far I've only touched the brake twice. I'm going to keep it under 4,000 RPM. Here's another brake application. Now let off. Once again. Once again. And then I basically immediately let off. So yeah. Slow down to like 45. So we're going to be going downhill again here real soon. The brake yet. We're slowing down even on this slope, just with that, you know, automatic transmission brake or whatever. Shit, I'm just gonna shift to third. A steep hill. So I'm still in third, doing 60 at 3,500 RPM with literally like zero throttle input. Basically just coasting. Now just a little bit of throttle. Sorry about that, I was yawning. Yeah, I'm giving you guys all this commentary because I've got no clue how the audio is going to be. I might have the music up too much, you know, who knows. so this ABS TP, that's my throttle position. You know, basically how much fuel I'm giving it, or, you know, air, how far open the throttle is. But it is measured at the throttle body and not the pedal. So even if I let off the throttle completely, it's still at 19%. So basically anything that you've seen so far on there, just subtract 20% from it, and that's the actual throttle position. I try to keep it under like 3/4 throttle. Usually it's under half, even when accelerating. I'm a very maintenance or longevity thinking person. So I like to drive stuff, even if it's fun to rag on it. I try my best to drive stuff right. I still beat on stuff, but it's fun beating on stuff, and I'm not going to hurt it the way I do it. Just a little update, or, well, this is how it runs on flat ground. I'm in 4th right now. I can do 70 at 2,800 RPM. Temps are good, of course. But I can let off the throttle some, and it'll shift to overdrive right there. But I don't like it sticking in overdrive because it slows down too much, and if I have the cruise set, she won't shift down to 4th quick enough, and it'll go straight to 3rd and be at 4,000 RPM to accelerate 2 fucking miles per hour. So yeah, definitely gonna do the overdrive lockout mod at some point. And, you know, maybe switch to 410 gearing in the rear. We'll see what happens first. Yeah, anyways. Cruising nicely. If it wasn't for the hills, I wouldn't mind staying in overdrive. 72 now, 71, 70, 69, 68. Now I'm going to give it some more throttle. There's 4th gear for 67 miles an hour, 50% throttle, still at 68. I could give it more throttle and, you know, accelerate faster. There's 70. Anyways, yeah. So this is kind of what it's like. Pretty smooth sailing. Alright, first gear, tow haul mode on. Alrighty. I usually shift at about $4 grand, and that usually drops me down to 2,500 RPM. But usually I rev first gear until 4,500, then shift, and that'll put me right around like 30 miles an hour at like kind of close to 3,000 RPM.
So speed limit here is 70, or I mean 40, my bad. So coming to a stop, coming to a stop like this, anything below 35, I drop to first gear, and then let I engine brake as much as possible. But I do have to rely on the brakes for that final stopping. Get it good from a stop. And you know, I'm not full throttle or anything. I'm about half throttle, if that. So yeah, that was 4,500 RPM when I shifted. Going to third now. Of course, I'm constantly checking my mirrors. So I'm probably going to be in third until I'm at, 65 probably. Then I'll shift into drive. So we're doing 65 right now, 3,800 RPM. Now I'm going to give it some more throttle to keep her in fourth. And I'm going to be doing between 70 and 77. I'll try to do 75, but you know, can't do much when you're going uphill. Alright, so there I went to accelerate some more and it just dropped down to third gear. 70 miles an hour, 4,100 RPM. So I'm letting off so it shifts. So it's in fourth gear now. And now I'm just going to shut up. Coming up to a hill, I'm gonna give it a little more throttle, just to where it says about 70-ish%, just to keep some speed going uphill. I feel a little bit of crosswind right now, so yeah, if I had that fifth gear lockout mod, which kept it in fourth, I'd be a lot happier, because then I could set the cruise as well. But as it is right now, if I let off the throttle, it's going to shift into fourth, or fifth I mean, and I'm going to lose all my momentum. at 75 right now on pretty flat ground. If I shift to 5th, it'll be at like 1900 to 2000 RPM. But if I keep it in 4th, she's at 3100 at 75 miles an hour. So yeah, when I'm going downhill, I don't let off the throttle unless I'm going like way too fast. I stay on the throttle at the same speed or same position roughly, and that way I gain some speed before I go up the next hill. Just a lot of checking my mirrors, lane position, checking my speed, RPM, making sure it stays in 4th, then glancing at my Google Maps every once in a while. So I just set cruise at 74-ish, but it kind of doesn't give it enough throttle position, and she starts dropping speed. Like we just dropped down to 73 for a couple seconds there, but it's probably going to shift to 5th here soon. We'll see. So there's 5th. Actually stopped the cruise there for a minute because I saw this guy in front of me. I don't know what he was doing, but it looked like he went to the right and to the left real quick. I thought he was pulling a trailer and the trailer started fishtailing or something. Oh, they're flat towing. Oh shit. Yeah. So we're down to 66, but I'm accelerating right now in 4th. going to be using the cruise, by the way. Letting off on the throttle around corners. Just because I don't know how fast they want you to go around this corner. Usually they're labeled. There's some views. Kind of. Flat ground, your top speed's going to be about 78. You can maybe do 80, but you'd be pushing it. But you can do 75 pretty comfortably. Of course, when I let off the throttle around these corners, it keeps going into fifth. So I'm doing 65 right now, and the speed limit's dropping to 55 right now. We're doing 55. I'm going to come down to third. If I wasn't decelerating quick enough, I can go to third at 65. Back up to 70 now. I'm going to shift at 4,000 RPM. And that's 70. So just for the heck of it, you can see what we do on this hill. So we're going 75 right now, 77. Same amount of throttle input. 76, 74, 73, a little bit more throttle, 70. But if I really wanted to, I could have kept it in third, going up that hill, and I probably would have stayed at 70 just fine. more than a slight left. Set the cruise at 75, 2200 RPM, and on slight grades it is going to need to downshift to 4th, and that will be in 4th gear at right about, I think, exactly 3000 RPM, or about a C. RPM actually. Now back to 5th. Yep, course right before the hill. 2200 RPM at 75. So we're in 3rd gear doing 55, which is the speed limit, up Raton Pass with the empty trailer. Let me put this up so you can see it. Shifted to 4th. Alright, we're doing 65 and 4th. If we lose more than a couple miles an hour going up this hill, I'll give it some more gas and shift to 3rd. If we drop to 60, I'll do that. We were just at 65 or 66, now we're at 63, 62. Shifted to 3rd, 3,300 RPM, 58 miles an hour, 60% throttle, 60 miles an hour. I'm gonna take her easy going down this hill, not giving it any throttle. Alright, doing 45. Accelerating slightly. 50. I'm just going to get back up to 55. 3,250 RPM, 30% throttle, because since we're going downhill. But it should have no problem going up any of this at 55 now. At 60, like I said, well, should stay doing 60 up this hill. We're staying at 58 right now, 70% throttle. Miles an hour. Do you see a blinking light anywhere? Alright, going downhill. We're still in third. We just dropped to 50 miles an hour because I let off the throttle. Just a few seconds later. Alright. I'm gonna just keep her doing about 55 through here. That engine braking sure works good. So I'm not on the throttle right now. She's keeping 55. Down whatever steepness this is. Creeping up speed a little bit. We're at 60 now. I'm going to apply some brake till we're back down to 55. In short, slow bursts. There's 2 brake pedal applications that brought us down to 58. Here's 55. So right now we're doing 60 at 3,500 RPM in third gear. 63, slow her down some, down to 60. Down to 55. I did just give it some throttle. Got up to 58, now I'm letting off. We're down to 56 right now. Sharp corner coming up ahead. Oh, never mind, that's just for the exit. But it's saying the recommended speed for this is 60, so we're fine. Doing 58 right now. There's 55. Just a little bit of throttle. It's a fucking Tundra. Man, those tail lights are so freaking ugly. They're like PT Cruiser tail lights. They don't belong on a Tundra. Oh yeah, my bad. I was giving it some gas. We're at 60 now. Now I'm off the throttle. Taking her nice and easy. I could be going faster than this. Giving it a little bit of throttle since we're down to 55 again. Up to 60 once again because I gave it a little bit of throttle. We're pretty much all the way down. We'll just keep it around 60. Which I am having to actually give it some throttle to stay at 60, so you know we're not like coasting down too fast or anything like that. Still at that 3,500 RPM mark. Once again, we've been in third gear this whole time. Doing 55 now, and this corner is rated for 55 miles an hour. Doing 52, still going downhill. So I'll give it some throttle till we get back to 55, and we're there. Now the other way is the way I came up when I was loaded, and that was most of the time on the corners we were doing like 50, between 50 and 45, but once it started getting steeper, there was no flat ground to recuperate our lost speed, and the steepest parts of the pass we were doing 30 miles an hour at either 4,000 or 4,500 RPM. So yeah, once again, just giving it a little bit of throttle to stay at 55. I could totally just set the cruise going down this, and that's usually what I do. But for the video, I want to see just how much throttle it takes and whether I need to touch the brakes at all. Because this trailer empty is just about what my just about what my camper is gonna weigh. Sorry, I got yawning. A little bit tired, but mainly because of the altitude adjustment. Hopefully you guys can see all the vital information there. So this way we're going back is from New Mexico to Colorado. And of course the way I originally came when I was loaded was that way. And that was Colorado to New Mexico. So yeah, still having to give it gas. Just that way it's not slowing down too much. I'm gonna shift to fourth. My gas stops in about 2 miles, which means yeah, we're we're basically at the bottom. Yeah, I mean, this is so flat, basically. Yeah, no sweat, man. No sweat pulling 9,000 pounds. Honestly, no sweat pulling 18,000 pounds. It's literally, I mean, even pulling it up, like, yeah, I was going 30 miles an hour, but mainly that was mainly because I lost so much speed going up the hill. And I wasn't trying to go as fast as possible. I was kind of messing around trying to find what speed the truck wanted to go at, what the RPM it wanted to be at, etc. Alright, well, my stop's coming up in half a mile, so I guess that's the end of this video, or at least this section of the video. So thanks, I guess. I don't know. Bye-bye.